What's going on, everybody? Resident Lynx here. And yeah, you can probably already tell by the length of this video that I did not come here to mess around. This isn't a top 10 moments, this isn't a highlight reel, this isn't a career in 12 minutes speed run. This is a full, deep, unhinged love letter to one of the most important wrestlers of all time, CM Punk. And I'm gonna say it again because it matters. CM Punk is my favorite wrestler of all time. Not one of, not depends on the mood, favorite. And if you're already mad about that, congratulations, you already understand CM Punk. Before we get into the chaos, quick real talk. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and watch the other content on the channel. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you who clicks on these long-form videos and actually gives them a chance. And yeah, I'll say it here too. This might be my last video doing this style. Not quitting YouTube, not disappearing, just possibly closing the book on this format. So please, really watch this one. All right, deep breath. Let's start where CM Punk starts. Chicago, the city that built a chip on his shoulder. CM Punk was born Phil Brooks, October 26, 1978 in Chicago, Illinois. And listen, Chicago is not just a location. Chicago is a personality trait. If you've ever met someone from Chicago, you already know. They will tell you they're from Chicago, they will defend Chicago like it's a family member, they will argue with you even if you agree with them. That energy is CM Punk in human form. Chicago breeds toughness, cynicism, loyalty, a permanent prove-it mentality. Punk didn't grow up rich, he didn't grow up connected. He grew up watching wrestling and realizing something very early. I love this, but something about it feels wrong. And that feeling never left him. A kid who loved wrestling but hated the business. Young Punk loved wrestling, but unlike a lot of wrestlers, he wasn't blinded by it. He saw addiction, burnout, exploitation, wrestlers being chewed up and spit out. And instead of saying, "That'll never be me," he said, "Then I'll be different." Which brings us to the single most important part of CM Punk's identity, straight edge, the most accidentally heel thing. CM Punk is straight edge. No drugs, no alcohol, no smoking. And that doesn't sound wild unless you remember this is professional wrestling, an industry historically fueled by cocaine, booze, painkillers, and terrible decisions at 3 a.m. Being straight edge in wrestling is like showing up to a biker bar drinking milk. But Punk didn't just be straight edge, he weaponized it. He turned personal discipline into a philosophy, a character, a moral sledgehammer. He didn't say, "I don't drink." He said, "I don't drink, and that makes me better than you." Which is bold, which is arrogant, which is perfect wrestling psychology. People booed him, people hated him, people felt judged, and Punk thrived in it. This is where CM Punk becomes CM Punk. Because here's the thing, straight edge wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't something he turned off backstage. It was who he was, and wrestling audiences can smell fake from a mile away. That authenticity, that's what followed Punk his entire career. The indie scene, where nothing is promised. Before WWE, before TV, before big checks, CM Punk was grinding on the independent circuit. And let me set the scene properly. This is small venues, small ceilings, rings that sound like they're made of IKEA parts, crowds so close they can correct your promo mid-sentence. There is no glamour here. You wrestle, you get paid, sometimes. You drive hours, you sleep wherever you can. This is where wrestlers either fall apart or become dangerous. Punk became dangerous. Ring of Honor, where he found his voice. Ring of Honor is where CM Punk really found himself. ROH valued wrestling skill, storytelling, promos that felt real. This is where Punk learned something crucial. You don't need to yell to be intense. You just need to mean what you say. His promos weren't flashy. They weren't catchphrase heavy. They sounded like arguments, like conversations that accidentally turned into confrontations. and fans loved it. The Summer of Punk before WWE ever had one. Long before WWE's version, ROH had its own Summer of Punk. Title wins, threats to leave with the belt, anti-authority energy. Sound familiar? Yeah, WWE didn't invent that. They borrowed it. Why the indies matter so much? This is important, so let me rant for a second. CM Punk did not come from a system designed to protect him. He came from a system designed to break you, which means he learned to speak up. He learned to advocate for himself. He learned not to trust promises. That mindset is why Punk never fully fit into WWE, and also why fans connected with him so hard. ECW calling and WWE not knowing what they had. When CM Punk signed WWE, he didn't arrive as the chosen one. He wasn't built like a superhero. He didn't look like Vince McMahon's dream action figure. But ECW gave him something dangerous: time on the mic. And once Punk started talking like CM Punk, fans leaned in. Because suddenly, WWE had someone who sounded like a fan, a critic, a wrestler, and a rebel, all at once. The moment people started paying attention. When Punk started hinting at leaving WWE with a championship, that's the first time people went, wait, is he allowed to say this? That uncertainty is rare. Wrestling lives and dies on that feeling. Why this all matters? Yes, even the rambling. Everything we've covered so far explains one thing. CM Punk was never built to fit into a corporate wrestling machine. He was built to challenge it. And that's why fans loved him, executives feared him, and the story only gets messier from here. First of all, bold. Second of all, chaotic. Third of all, I respect it, but you absolutely missed me ranting about Chicago for like 10 minutes. So we're not recapping, we're diving. ECW champion, WWE accidentally creates a problem. When CM Punk becomes ECW champion, WWE thinks they found a reliable mid-level guy, someone who can carry a brand quietly, someone who'll say the lines and stay in his lane. What they actually found is a man who does not stay in lanes. Because once Punk had a championship, TV time, a microphone, he started asking questions. Dangerous ones. The title threat that felt too real. When Punk teased leaving WWE with the ECW championship, something shifted. Fans weren't sure if it was storyline, if it was real, if WWE was panicking backstage. And anytime wrestling fans don't know what's real, that's magic. That's lightning. That's when wrestling works best. Why Punk felt different from everyone else. Here's the thing about CM Punk. He didn't talk like a wrestler. He talked like a disgruntled employee, a fed-up fan, a guy who's been holding it in too long. His promos sounded like HR meetings gone wrong, and audiences connected with that hard. Money in the Bank, the perfect wrestling concept for him. Money in the Bank might as well have been designed in a lab for CM Punk. Why? Because it rewards opportunists, risk takers, people who don't wait for permission. And Punk winning didn't feel like WWE chose him. It felt like he stole it, which is way cooler. The cash-in. A star is born again. When Punk cashed in Money in the Bank and won the World Heavyweight Championship, that moment mattered because it validated indie wrestlers, smaller guys, talkers over bodybuilders. For fans who didn't look like John Cena or Batista, Punk was proof you could still matter. World champion, but something's off. Now here's where the frustration creeps in. CM Punk is world champion, but he's not always main eventing. He's not always treated like the centerpiece. He's constantly looking over his shoulder. It's like being given the crown but told, don't sit on the throne too comfortably. And Punk felt that. You can hear it in his promos. You can see it in his body language. The "you're not the guy" era. WWE never fully committed. No matter how over Punk was, no matter how loud the reactions were, there was always someone else. A returning legend, a bigger body, a safer corporate option. And Punk, he just kept showing up, which made the frustration worse. Promos start getting sharper. This is when Punk's promos shift tone. They stop being playful, cocky, confident, and start becoming bitter, defensive, aggressively honest. And fans loved it because, again, it felt real. The building tension backstage. Here's the thing WWE didn't account for. CM Punk wasn't playing a frustrated character. He was frustrated. And when real frustration bleeds into fiction, that's powerful and dangerous. Because eventually, someone says something they weren't supposed to. Enter John Cena and the perfect storm. You cannot talk about CM Punk's rise without talking about John Cena. Cena represented the system, the corporate face, the guy WWE always chose. Punk represented the outsider, the critic, the guy fans rally behind. That contrast is wrestling gold. The audience picks sides.
Crowds didn't just cheer Punk, they rebelled with him. Signs, chants, entire arenas flipping on WWE's chosen narrative. You could feel control slipping, and WWE hates that. The pipe bomb is coming, and you can feel it. By this point, everything is lined up. Punk's frustration, fan support, corporate tension, a live microphone. You don't need hindsight to know something big is coming. You can feel it in the air. June 27th, 2011, the night wrestling stopped being safe. Let's set the scene. Raw, Las Vegas. CM Punk is sitting cross-legged on the stage like he's about to start a TED Talk called Why Your Boss Sucks and You're All Too Afraid to Say It. And from the second he grabs the mic, you can feel it. This isn't scripted, this isn't polished, this isn't approved by legal. This is the man who has run out of patience. The pipe bomb promo, wrestling's 9/11. Metaphorically, calm down. Punk starts talking, and talking, and talking, and every sentence feels like, oh damn, he wasn't supposed to say that. He calls out Vince McMahon, John Cena, the system, nepotism, part-timers, corporate favoritism. He mentions Ring of Honor, New Japan, Colt Cabana, Brock Lesnar. Names you do not casually drop in WWE promos. This wasn't a promo. This was a hostile takeover of live television. The camera cuts and it makes it worse. When WWE cuts Punk's mic, that didn't save them. It made it worse. Because suddenly fans realized, oh, they're scared. And once fans sense fear, they feast. Why the pipe bomb worked? Let me be clear. The pipe bomb didn't work because Punk yelled, Punk swore, Punk broke rules. It worked because fans already believed everything he said. He wasn't introducing new ideas, he was saying the quiet parts out loud. Vince McMahon, the perfect villain. Vince didn't fight the pipe bomb, he leaned into it, which was smart because once Punk frames Vince as out of touch, ego-driven, clinging to power, every crowd reaction becomes proof. The summer of Punk begins. Punk announces he's leaving WWE with the championship. Suddenly, stakes feel real, contracts feel real, wrestling feels dangerous again. Fans aren't asking who's winning, they're asking what happens if he actually leaves. That uncertainty is everything. Money in the Bank 2011, Chicago explodes. Let's not undersell this. This crowd was not hot. This crowd was nuclear. John Cena walks out, booed. Punk walks out, earthquake. When Punk wins, it feels like a revolution. And when he blows Vince a kiss and leaves through the crowd, that image becomes immortal. The aftermath, WWE panics. Here's the uncomfortable truth. WWE didn't fully understand what they had created. They wanted buzz, ratings, attention. What they got was a fan base demanding change, and WWE doesn't like demands. The title reign that never got to breathe. Punk comes back, wins the title again, and then in Kevin Nash, Triple H, authority nonsense, the focus shifts and fans feel it. The magic starts leaking. 434 days, a stat that hides a struggle. Yes, Punk held the WWE Championship for 434 days. Historic, legendary. But ask yourself, how many main events? How many true headline moments? That reign deserved more spotlight than it got. The burnout becomes visible. This is where Punk starts breaking down. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Injuries stack up, pressure mounts, frustration simmers. And through it all, he keeps showing up. The seeds of departure are planted. By the end of this era, you can tell, Punk isn't mad about losing, he's mad about not being heard. And when someone who lives on their voice feels silenced, they leave. When the music stops. February 2014. No dramatic promo, no farewell speech, no thank you for everything. CM Punk just disappears. And at first, fans think, oh, he'll be back, because wrestlers always come back. Except this time, he didn't. The walkout. Or when enough is enough. Punk leaves WWE after the Royal Rumble. Not because he lost, not because he wasn't champion, not because fans turned on him. He left because he was injured, he was burned out, he felt unheard, he felt disposable. And that's the part people forget. This wasn't ego, this was exhaustion. The myth versus the reality. Wrestling fans argued for years. Was Punk selfish? Was Punk ungrateful? Did Punk quit? But here's the thing. You don't walk away from your dream job at the top unless something is deeply wrong. Punk didn't leave because he hated wrestling. He left because wrestling was killing him. The podcast that set the world on fire. Then comes that podcast. You know the one. Colt Cabana, open microphones, no filter, no corporate leash. Punk unloads everything. Medical neglect, backstage politics, creative frustration, the culture. And suddenly, the curtain doesn't just get pulled back, it gets ripped off the wall. Love him or hate him, he said what he felt. Was it messy? Yes. Was it uncomfortable? Absolutely. Was it honest? Painfully. And that's CM Punk in a nutshell. He'd rather burn bridges than lie. The UFC era, a different kind of fight. Now, let's talk about the thing everyone jokes about, UFC. Punk steps into a real cage. No gimmicks, no storyline, no script. Did he lose? Yes. Did it look rough? Also yes. But let me say this clearly. It took more guts to step into the octagon than most people will ever show in their lives. He didn't have to do it, he chose to. Failure didn't erase his legacy. Some fans try to rewrite history because of UFC. That's garbage. Failing publicly doesn't erase greatness. Trying doesn't make you weak. If anything, it reinforced who Punk always was. Someone willing to bet on himself even when it's risky. The long silence. For years, Punk stayed away from wrestling. Fans speculated, rumors exploded, every Chicago show became a guessing game. But Punk stayed gone, and the absence, it made the legend grow. The return. You know the moment. Then it happens. Years later. Different company. Different stage. CM Punk walks out to Cult of Personality. And the crowd loses its damn mind. Not because he's perfect, not because he never failed, but because he's real. Why CM Punk is still my favorite wrestler. Let me say this directly. CM Punk is my favorite wrestler of all time. Not because he always won, not because he was always right, not because he never messed up, but because he spoke honestly. He stood his ground. He made wrestling feel personal. He made it feel like your voice mattered. Why this video feels different. I'm gonna be real with you. This might be my last video done in this style. The mega length, the deep dives, the emotional ramblings, the unhinged project passions. Not because I don't care, but because these take everything out of you. And I wanted this one to matter. To everyone still watching, if you're still here, I genuinely appreciate you. Not algorithm appreciation, not fake YouTuber appreciation, real appreciation. You didn't have to watch this, you didn't have to listen, you didn't have to care, but you did. So seriously, please like the video, please subscribe, please watch other content on the channel. It helps more than you realize. And whether I keep doing these videos like this or not, I'm grateful you were here for this one. The final word. CM Punk wasn't perfect. Neither am I. Neither are you.
But wrestling and art in general needs people willing to be uncomfortable. People willing to say, this could be better. That's why Punk mattered. That's why he still matters. And that's why this video mattered to me. Thank you, Resident Lynx.